All right, we should be up and running here. We got about 8 minutes until the close. Don't think the market's going to move too much from here, so we'll take a look at where it's at again near the end, but I don't think much is going to change. Should be live and good to go here on both platforms. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for January 14th, 2022. SPY basically flat on the day, and then Q's up 0.62. Came into today, SPY neutral because the daily not in a downtrend. Q's, however, reason to be bearish, just need to see what this daily sell setup is going to do next. We talked about how yesterday was a pretty wide range bar, pretty decent size. Today, expecting a more narrow range day. Which, not that narrow, but I guess in comparison to the last few weeks, definitely one of the more narrow bars. So, wasn't expecting too much from today, really. Really in a wait and see, want to see how this daily sell setup on the Qs plays out, how this lack of a trend on the hourly wants to play out, and then even as we zoom out further, how the lack of the trend here on the Qs going from at least in the context of this recent base, new high to new low, and then back up into the middle of the range. Now is going to be a higher low. We also pointed out how the SPY was also doing conflicting things. Here's a high and then a lower high, but a low and a higher low. So again, not indicative of an uptrend or a downtrend. Okay, so going into Tuesday, we're still in that bit of a wait and see, and that may be the market as well, waiting to see how some of these big companies, how their earnings plays out, and what that will mean for the next direction for the market. All right. Let's get into the plays from today. I struggled a little bit today. I thought it was pretty tricky, primarily because of getting involved in the FTCI. FTCI, I liked how weak this was. Okay, that's, gapping down to all-time lows. It is coming from a red bar, but that's okay. It's not really novice at all. Reminds me a little bit of the ETWO setup that we played yesterday as far as the very weak daily chart, weekly, monthly, longer time frames, all showing weakness. So gave this a shot in the morning here, right off of the first kind of sell setup of the day here. So right in here. So the first sell setup in here. Got a little bit of follow through, but then failed on the FTCI. So here we can see there was a sell setup there a bit on the 5, and then failed on that. Actually went up and made a new high, and then came back down. Did give it one more try. We decided to kill this a little bit early on the FTCI, but played this base here on the 5-minute. Okay. And usually that's pretty much my limit on any single stock in any single day. Okay, is try it twice and that's it. I don't want to get into playing it 3 times. I don't want to get into, okay, well, if it's not going to work as a short, I'm going to play it as a long. And, I don't want to get into any of that mess. It's just telling me either there's something wrong with it today or something wrong with me and the way that I'm reading it today. So that's kind of where I draw the line. And I even said, when I play this, I'm going to play this. I'm not going to play it again if it doesn't work or sets up or shakes me out or whatever. I want to not play this again. So, that was the FTCI. I mean, I like the play. It just had a lot of sloppiness to it today. It was very, very tricky. There was a time where I did try to get filled on a scalp and didn't get filled, which actually would have been kind of the nicest play I would have had on it today. But sometimes that's just the way it is, and you kind of have to know your limit also. I don't think if I had played it a third time that it would have been any kind of revenge play, any of these plays. Well, more so the second play, I don't really consider a revenge play. It was just another setup on this. I mean, there was probably 2 hours in between the 2 trades. So, it wasn't I need to get my money back on this thing. It was a new setup. I still liked the way it looked on the daily chart. I still thought it was bearish. It was just not going to follow through and not going to make new lows. So it just wasn't going to happen. So I think that's okay. Some days are like that. It's just you got to kind of know, what your limit is. Okay, and then also kind of just limit those days and the risk that you have a big down day, or let one symbol kind of ruin your day. Okay. Fortunately, though, even though I struggled, some really nice plays from Sammy and James. Really nice GFAI on the base breakout in the morning. So really beautiful here. Breakout. Kind of needed a retest first, but then off it went. And then Sammy, a very similar kind of follow through there. Just a very impressive follow through on this 15-minute pullback that went into a base on the SPEV. So really those guys kind of carried me today, because I was just wrestling with this FTCI, and it was just giving me a hard time there. And so today just struggled a little bit, couldn't really get going there, and kind of this just multiple times throughout the day, it just looked like it was going to set up, or did set up and then wouldn't go. So some stocks are going to be like that, and some days are going to be like that. And so I thought today was pretty tricky, but if you took Sammy and James's calls, then you should have had at least one home run there on the SPV or the GFAI. All right. Just a reminder, we are closed on Monday, so you do have a 3-day weekend. And we'll be back at it on Tuesday. Okay, so we have a holiday on Monday. All right. And we're still kind of in a wait and see on the Qs and SPY here. Just need to see some kind of trend. There's a lot of time frame conflict going on between the larger time frames, the weekly, the monthly, and then the daily, and then the hourly, especially on the Qs and SPY. So we're waiting for that to resolve. And so I think the choppiness that we had today might continue into next week. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, we'll be back at it on Tuesday. I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.